And a wonderful Friday to all of you, TGIF, right? Am I right? Yeah, it's Friday and I am so excited because, it's summer and the weekend's ahead and I have a lot of fun stuff lined up this weekend. So yeah, I'm hyped. How are you doing, gang? How are your weekends looking?
Nice.
Busy.
Everything is great.
Everything's
My weekend looks very uneventful, and that's how I like it.
You know what? Yep. Yes. It's like sometimes just chilling is good. When you go on a vacation supposedly to relax, having too much fun sometimes gets tiring. So yeah, you need those weekends when it's kind of like down and just like relaxing, watching movies, eating some good stuff, maybe meeting a few people here and there. But you know, as an introvert, as you guys already know, I like that too. So despite the fact that I am going to be working over the weekend, I am excited because I have some get-togethers with friends as well. And then next week, I am hosting my sister's birthday party on Saturday, which, if I haven't made my sadness known, okay, so there is going to be the Anime Expo here in LA, and there's going to be a panel for Ascendance of a Bookworm, and they will be, I think, the light novel editor, so I'm pretty sure it might be Quash might be there. It's going to be there, or one of the others. So he's going to be there. It's going to be other.
I was wondering if that was going to be the translator editor or someone else.
For now, let's just say it's Quaff because what else are we going to say? Let's just be excited. I feel terrible that we can't be there. At least I can't be there. So yeah, if you are going to Anime Expo and you want to share details, please share them as soon as possible with all of us over on either the official Discord or official Bookworm Reddit. That'd be great. We would love to hear. But other than that, yeah, summer's here at last, so I hope you guys got some nice weekend stuff planned up. Oh, and we have Watch Party! Okay, people, we're doing Watch Party again because some folks in the server weren't able to finish the movie when we watched it. This is Count of Monte Cristo movie, so we're gonna watch it again this Sunday. Hope you can join us. Yes, it is open to non-server members. If you're interested, let me know. I guess I'll drop the link. Maybe, I don't know. Hardly anybody ever comes. So I get lazy copy and pasting things and feeling rejection. So I don't think I'm gonna post it unless somebody wants it. Let me know. All right. But meanwhile, let's say hello to YouTube gang who's joining us. We have people joining us slowly but surely. I see Little Butterfly was the very first one on the chat. Hey, Little Butterfly, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Lovely. Great to see you too. Teal says, too bad we just missed Father's Day because today is father and son. Right, we're reading chapter 2 and we are introduced to Dante's Edmond's, both of them are Dantès. We're being introduced to Edmond's father.
Just a couple weeks too late.
Yeah, unfortunately. But it's, you know what? It's just like Mother's Day. It's never a bad time to celebrate and honor good parental figures. So let today be another Father's Day and celebrate our beloved fathers and mentors and father figures. And
call your parents and tell them that you love them.
Yes. Tia reminds us of what we learned in chapter 1, that Edmond is a good and, very loyal son. Surely they both deserve all the happiness in the world. Teal.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it, Teal. Stop it. Teal is Teal knows what's going down. So take what she says with a grain of salt. Not that I'm telling you not to trust what she says, but yeah.
Trust what she says. She's completely trustworthy.
You can trust that they deserve the happiness.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. Theo reminds us, continues on. As Monsieur Morel said in the last chapter, there is a providence that watches over the deserving. No one would wish to usurp Edmond's happiness or see that blown up. I'm sorry, that was funny. Blown apart. I was cackling, really embarrassing. I'm sorry. All right. Yay82 says, last time on the Count of Monte Cristo, perfect good boy Dantès returns to France with terrible news of the captain's death and is promised his own command. Everything is looking up for Dantès. Yes, thank you so much for that little bit of a summary. That's basically what we needed to know. TLDR, if you didn't join us for the first read along, that's basically where we're at. Except you forgot one thing, Yay. And that is the role that you played. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think Danglars is a nobody in the background who's never going to have an important role in this story.
Okay. Yes, let it be so. But there were a lot of red flags in there.
Totally the reason why he chose that role. That's all I'm gonna say.
Look, I may have red flag. Danglars may have some red flags, but that's because he's doing semaphore. It's fine.
Okay, well, we'll see. And then Yukihime says a little bit on Maniac Warpath. Yes, as what was it that you said, Patrick, about Yukihime today?
She woke up and chose violence.
Yes, she's in a dissing mood, so everybody watch out. I am ready with my anti-ballistic armor here.
She's been talking some real bad stuff about Lady Florencia.
She's innocent.
And how she's a bad mama.
She's not.
Justice
for Florencia.
I can give links from fanfics that have really analyzed her and have really put out all the bad things that she's doing. So, like, don't make me.
Okay, so if we're gonna go with fanfics,
okay,
there's.
I just bumped my head. Okay, this is Patrick's doing.
That's a sign from the universe. Be merciful to poor Florencia. Justice for Florencia. Okay, so I'm not saying that Florencia is the best or whatever, but there were reasons.
I'm sorry, Magpie, but Yukihime, what did you just blame on me?
Settle down, children. We don't want a war. All right, we don't want a war here. Leave it for the reading. All right, sillies. So, yeah, happy to be here. We are overjoyed and we're excited to read Chapter 2 and maybe 3. We may do 3 chapters today. If we don't waste any more time with our silliness, we should be able to get to Chapter 3. So today, we don't need to do a TLDR because
I'm sorry. I really don't want to waste more time with silliness, but did you say 3 chapters?
Sorry, 2 chapters. I was thinking of chapter 2 and 3. There we go, 2 chapters. Thank you for the correction.
I was also hearing it, and I was like, "Okay, we're here all night."
No. I meant we're gonna read up to chapter 3. Sorry about that.
I vow a read along.
No. Oh no. I don't have enough water for that. All right. So today, reading, we have the following folks. Patrick is going to be reading Edmond. Yay is going to be reading Danglars. Yukihime is going to be reading Gaspard. And then some last name, which I probably should be a little better about reading out. Anyway. Butterfly is Father Louis. That's Edmond's father. And then when we read chapter 3, we're going to get introduced to lovely Mercedes Teal. And of course, highlighting brought to you by Teal. And we're excited and thankful for that. All right, folks, everybody ready? Chapter 2, everybody got your books open? Your Google Docs ready?
I'm ready.
Yes, let us
Oui,
start. Bonjour. That's all I can say. Okay. Chapter 2. Father and Son. We will leave Danglars struggling with the demon of hatred. Oh, well, that's great. Sorry. We will leave Danglars struggling with the demon of hatred and endeavoring to insinuate in the ear of the shipowner some evil suspicions against his comrade, and follow Dantès, who, having traversed La Canebière, took the Rue de Noailles and entering a small house on the left of the Allées de Melhagne, rapidly ascended 4 flights of a dark staircase, holding the baluster with one hand, while with the other he repressed the beatings of his heart, and paused before a half-open door, from which he could see the whole of a small room. This room was accompanied by Dantès' father. The news of the arrival of the Pharaoh had not yet reached the old man, who, mounted on a chair, was amusing himself by training with trembling hand the nasturtiums and sprays of clematis that clambered over the trellis at his window. Suddenly he felt an arm thrown around his body, and a well-known voice behind him exclaimed,
Father! Dear father!
The old man uttered a cry and turned around. Then, seeing his son, he fell into his arms, pale and trembling.
What ails you, my dear father? Are you ill?
Inquired the young man, much alarmed.
No, my dear Edmond, my boy, my son. Oh, no, but I did not expect you. And joy, the surprise of seeing you so suddenly. I feel as if I were going to die.
Come, cheer up, my dear father. 'Tis I, really I. They say joy never hurts, and so I came to you without any warning. Come now, do smile. Instead of looking at me so solemnly, here I am back again, and we are going to be happy.
Yes, my boy. So we will,
Replied the old man.
But how shall we be happy? Shall you never leave me again? Come, tell me all the good fortune that this befell you.
God forgive me
Said the young man.
for rejoicing in at happiness derived from the misery of others, but heaven knows I do not seek this good fortune. It has happened, and I really cannot pretend to lament it. The good Captain Leclerc is dead, father, and it is probable that with the aid of Monsieur Morel, I shall have his place. Do you understand, father? Only imagine me, a captain at 20, with 100 louis pay, and a share of the profits. Is this not more than a poor sailor like me could have hoped for?
Yes, my dear boy.
Replied the old man.
It is very fortunate.
Well then, with the first money I touch, I mean you to have a small house with a garden in which in which to plant clematis, nasturtium,
Nasturtiums.
and yeah, that one, and honeysuckle. But what ails you, father? Are you not well?
Nothing. It will soon pass.
And as he said so, the old man's strength failed him, and he fell backwards.
Come,
Said the young man.
a glass of wine, father, will revive you. Where do you keep your wine?
No, thanks. You need not look for it I do not want it.
said the old man.
Yes, yes, father, tell me where it is.
And he opened 2 or 3 cupboards.
It is no use.
Said the old man.
There is no wine.
What? No wine?
Said Dantès, turning pale and looking alternately at the hollow cheeks of the old man and the empty cupboards.
What? No wine? Have you wanted money, father?
I want nothing now that I have you.
Said the old man.
Yet,
Stammered Dantès, wiping the perspiration from his brow.
yet I gave you 200 francs when I left 3 months ago.
Yes, Edmond. That is true. But you forgot at that time a little debt to our neighbors, Catarrhus. He reminded me of it, telling me if I did not pay for you, he would be paid by Immeral. And so he is, lest he might do you an injury.
Well,
Why, I paid him.
but
Cried Dantès.
it was 140 francs I owed Catarrhus.
Yes,
Stammered the old man.
And you paid him out of the 200 francs I left you?
The old man nodded.
So that you have lived for 3 months on 60 francs?
Muttered Edmond.
you know how little I require.
Said the old man.
Heaven pardon me.
Cried Edmond, falling on his knees before his father.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Sorry. You have wounded me to the heart.
Never mind it, for I see you once more,
Said the old man.
and now it is all over. Everything is all right again.
Yes, here I am.
Said the young man.
With a promising future and a little money. Here, father, here.
He said.
Take this, take it, and send for something immediately.
And he emptied his pockets on the table, the contents consisting of 12 gold pieces, 5 or 6 5-franc pieces, and some smaller coin. The countenance of old Dantès brightened.
Who it belong to?
He inquired.
To me, to you, to us. Take it. Buy some provisions, be happy, and tomorrow we shall have more.
Gently,
Said the old man with a smile.
and by your leave, I will use your purse moderately, for they will say if they saw me buy too many things at a time that I had been obliged to await your return in order to be able to purchase them.
Do as you please, but first of all, pray have a servant, father. I will not have you left alone so long. I have some smuggled coffee and most capital tobacco in a small chest in the hold, which you shall have tomorrow. But hush, here comes somebody.
'Tis Cataros, who has heard of your arrival, and no doubt comes to congratulate you on your future fortunate
Fortunate.
return.
Lips that say one thing while the heart thinks another.
murmured Edmond.
But never mind, he is a neighbor who has done us a service on a time, so he's welcome.
As Edmund paused, the black and bearded head of Cadarus appeared at the door. He was a man of 25 or 6, and held a piece of cloth which, being a tailor, he was about to make into a coat lining.
What? Is it you, Edmond? Back again?
Said he, with a broad Marseille accent, and a grin that displayed his ivory white teeth.
Yes, as you say, neighbor Kataroo, and ready to be agreeable to you in any and every way.
Replied Dante, but ill concealing his coldness under his cloak of civility.
Thanks, but fortunately I do not want for anything, and it chances that at times there are others who have need of me.
Dantes made a gesture.
I do not allude to you, my boy. No, I lent you money and you returned it. That's like good neighbors, and we are quits.
We are never quits with those who oblige us.
Was Dantes' reply.
For when we do not owe them money, we owe them gratitude.
What's the use of mentioning that? What is done. Let us talk of your happy return, my boy. I had gone on the quay to match a piece of mulberry cloth when I met friend Dangler. You at Marseille? Yes, he says he. I thought you were at Smyrna. I was, but I'm now back again. And where is the dear boy, our little Edmond? Why, with his father, no doubt, replied Danglars, and so I came.
Added Cadarus.
As fast as I could, to have the pleasure of shaking hands with a friend.
Worthy Cataros,
Said the old man.
he is so much attached to us.
Yes, to be sure I am. I love and esteem you, because honest folks are so rare. But it seems you have come back rich, my boy.
Continued the tailor, looking askance at the handful of gold and silver which Dantes had thrown on the table. The young man remarked the greedy glance which shone in the dark eyes of his neighbor. He said negligently.
This money is not mine. I was expressing to my father my fears that he had wanted many things in my absence, and to convince me, he emptied his purse on the table. Come, father, put this money back in your box, unless neighbor Cataroo wants anything, and in that case, it is at his service.
No, my boy, no.
Said Cadarus.
I am not in any want, thank God. My living is suited to my means. Keep your money, keep it, I say. One never has too much. But at the same time, my boy, I am as much obliged by your offer as if I took advantage of it.
It was offered with goodwill.
Said Dantes.
No doubt, my boy, no doubt. Well, you stand well with Miss Morel. I hear, you insinuating dog, you.
I'm sorry, I got a little distracted there. Monsieur Morel has always been exceedingly kind to me.
Replied Dantes.
And you were wrong to refuse to dine with him.
What, did you refuse to dine with him?
Said old Dantes.
And did he invite you to dine?
Yes, my dear father.
replied Edmond, smiling at his father's astonishment at the excessive honor paid to his son.
Why did you refuse, my son?
Inquired the old man.
That I might sooner see you again, my father.
Replied the young man.
I was most anxious to see you.
But it must have vexed Mr. Morel, a good worthy man.
Said Caderousse.
And when you are looking forward to be captain, it was wrong to annoy the owner.
But I explained to him the cause of my refusal.
Replied Dantès.
And I hope he fully understood it.
Yes, to be captain one must do little flattery to one's patrons.
I hope to be the captain without that.
Said Dantès.
So much the better, so much the better. Nothing will give greater pleasure to your old friends, and I know one down there behind the St. Nicholas Citadel who will not be sorry to hear it.
Lady?
Said the old man.
Yes, my dear father, and with your permission, now I have seen you and know you are well, and have all you require. I will ask you to consent to go and pay a visit to the Catalans.
Go, my dear boy.
Said old Dantès.
And heaven bless you in your wife as it has blessed me in my son.
His wife?
Said Caderousse.
Why, how fast you go on, Father Dantès. She is not his wife yet, as it seems to me.
No, but according to all probability, she soon will be.
Replied Edmond.
Yes, yes, but you were right to return as soon as possible, my boy.
And why?
Because Mercedes is a very fine girl, and fine girls never lack followers. She particularly has them by dozens.
Really?
Answered Edmond, with a smile which had in it traces of slight uneasiness.
Ah, yes, and capital offers too, but you know, you will be captain, and who could refuse it then?
Meaning to say,
Replied Dantès with a smile which but ill concealed his trouble.
that if I were not a captain,
Said Caderousse, shaking his head.
Come, I have a better opinion of you than you of women in general, and of Mercedes in particular. And I am certain that, captain or not, she will remain ever faithful to me.
So much the better, so much the better. When one is going to be married, there is nothing like implicit confidence. But never mind that, my boy. Go and announce your arrival and let her know all your hopes and prospects.
I will go directly.
Was Edmond's reply, and embracing his father and nodding to Caderousse, he left the apartment. Caderousse lingered for a moment, then taking leave of old Dantès, he went downstairs to rejoin Danglars, who awaited him at the corner of the Rue Senac.
Well, did you see him?
I have just left him.
Answered Caderousse.
Did he allude to his hope of being captain?
He spoke as if it was a thing already decided.
Indeed.
Said Danglars.
He is in too much hurry, it appears to me.
Why, it seems Mr. Morel has promised him the thing.
So that he is quite elated about it.
Why, yes, he is actually insolent over the matter, has already offered me his patronage, as if he were a grand personage, and proffered me a loan of money, as though he were a banker.
Which you refused.
Most assuredly, although I might easily have accepted it, for it was I who put into his hand the first silver he ever earned, but now Mr. Dantès has no longer any occasion for assistance. He is about to become a captain.
Who?
said Danglars.
He is not one yet.
Ma foi, it will be as well if he is not.
Answered Caderousse.
For if he should be, there will be really no speaking to him.
If we choose,
Replied Danglars.
he will remain what he is, and perhaps become even less than he is.
What do you mean?
Nothing. I was speaking to myself. And he is still in love with the Catalan?
Over head and ears, but unless I am much mistaken, there will be a storm in that quarter.
Explain yourself.
Why should I?
It is more important than you think. Perhaps you do not like Dantès.
I never like upstarts.
Then tell me all you know about the Catalan.
I know nothing for certain, only I have seen things which induce me to believe, as I told you, that the future captain will find some annoyance in the vicinity of the Ville infirmaries.
And what have you seen? Come, tell me.
Well, every time I have seen Mercedes come into the city, she has been accompanied by a tall, strapping, black-eyed Catalan with a red complexion, brown skin, and fierce air, whom she calls cousin.
Really? And do you think this cousin pays her attentions?
I only suppose so. What else can a strapping chap of 21 mean with a fine wench of 17?
And you say that Dantès has gone to the Catalans?
It went before I came down.
Let us go the same way. We will stop at La Reserve, and we can drink a glass of La Malgois, whilst we wait for news.
Come along, but you paid the score.
Of course.
Replied Danglars, and replied Danglars, and going quickly to the designated place, they called for a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. Père Pamphile had seen Dantès pass not 10 minutes before, and assured them that he was at the Catalans. They sat down under the budding foliage of their planes and sycamores, in the branches of which the birds were singing their welcome to one of the first days of spring. End of chapter.
My goodness, this honest man is absolutely surrounded by schemers.
Yeah, these are awful people.
You
man.
mean Danglars? Yes, he's clearly surrounded by the worst sorts of people.
Yeah, like this is so tragic. Like genuinely, like just the thing with his father, I nearly brought a tear to my eye of like, oh my god, like just was so scared that he paid off the debt and like, oh my god.
So 3 months he was living on 60 francs, which is very, very little. I'm not even quite sure how much that is, but going from 200 to less. Oh, you looked it up?
Yes. So an unskilled laborer would be, at the time, would be expected to earn around 1.1 francs per day.
Oh.
So that is very stretched.
Oh my gosh. It's true. That is ultimate penury. That's so bad. No wonder Dantès was like, he got like upset. Like how? Yeah, that is so
he
bad.
left him 200, and he was thinking that 200 was okay for 3 months, but 60 is way too little. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Father Dantès doesn't seem to hold it against Caderousse, who totally called in his debt at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
Well, Father Dantès.
I'm having fun with this character. I'm having fun being evil right now. I invented a whole accent and everything.
It's almost as if you are in a certain kind of mood today.
A little bit. Yeah.
Well,
All right. Bit of quick math here. In modern U.S. currency, that is about earning the equivalent of that is about $4.35 a day.
oh my gosh, you guys, it gets worse
My
and worse.
goodness.
That gets worse and worse. Oh
I
my-
don't know if the math is correct because like 200 was still supposed to like be very sufficient. So like I don't know.
For one
Yeah,
person.
it's quick math.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah,
for one person for 3 months. So 3 months, that's like 90 days, right? So that gives you like 2 francs a day, sort of. I don't know. I'm just doing some random math.
Great living. But
Yeah, 2.2 francs a day would be
That'd be
200.
in modern currency, that would be about 18. No,
Sorry. Hold on. My math
no.
was wrong. My math was wrong. It was 3 months or 2 months?
3 months.
3 months.
Okay. Yeah, it was
So
90
90
days. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's 2.2 if it's 200, and if it's 60, then it's 0.6 francs.
Yeah, it's still very little.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to like really understand the scope of how much or how little it is. We can only compare it to some other like what Ye did actually is very helpful, because when I was reading Jane Eyre, if you will recall, like they were talking about pounds and shillings and whatnot and how much money she had in all the world. And always to refer back to it, I always remembered that she was getting paid 15 pounds a year as a governess. So compare the 15 pounds a year that she had to the 20,000 pounds inheritance that she later like got. I guess spoilers. Go read Jane Eyre.
Okay, I mistaken my math. For comparison today, it's actually more like $34 a day, $35 a day. When with 200 francs, it would have been more like $130 a day.
Yeah.
So 200 isn't a lot, but it's significantly better than 60.
Yeah. He left him sufficient, especially if he only has to take care of himself. And I'm imagining that back then the rent was reasonable for like where they were living at. Like they weren't living in some like palace or whatever. So I don't think that Dante left him with insufficient. If anything, he left him with more in case there was emergencies or he was delayed or whatever. Yeah. So I keep calling him Dantès. His name is Edmond. They're both Dantès. All right. So we have the introduction of that character who gangs up with Danglars, and they both want to see something bad befall poor Edmond. Meanwhile, Edmond is going off to see his lady love.
What has Edmund done that deserves all this hatred directed at him?
What has Edmond done? We talked about Edmond's character, right? In the other chat
Yes.
read along.
Yep.
So if we were to go and look at his besides being young and stuff, there's other characteristics about Edmond that people without honor or scruples would find very irritating, I think. So, I guess envy.
Well, he's ambitious, and Cabaret did say something about him being an upstart, so it's like he's stepping beyond his station or something like that.
He's young, he's scrappy, he's hungry, he's not throwing away his shot.
Yes. Oh, that just absolutely tickled my heart. Thank you for that. Young, scrappy, and hungry. All right. So Yeah, and I also kind of feel like there's sometimes when you are walking, I guess, a righteous road, you're trying to be honorable, you pass up any opportunity to profit through ill means. You just kind of like a way for people to like see that they themselves are not being good people, so they resent that. And I think that's the reason about Dante, because I think that in any era, being ambitious, people that love money will be like, you know what, I respect him being ambitious and doing whatever he needs to do. I think it's mostly his pure character that has earned him the hatred of these men. But I mean, there might be some other story. We don't know. We don't know.
Oh, by the way, Crusher was here and he was asking if you had shown his Chapter 2 AI art.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me about the YouTube chat. I don't want to neglect you. I see that Fuji petals floating in the river is there. So while we will show the art after we're done with the read along. How's that? Remind me though. Let me just say hello to Fuji petals.
I will definitely try to remember.
Yes, thank you.
I do not make any promises.
Yes, we have 6 collective brains here. One brain has to come through. Come on. Well, mine is a bird brain, so mine doesn't count in this counting. So Fuji Petal says, may I pray for a blessing in appreciation of the serendipitous meeting ordained by the vibrant summer race of Leidenschaft and the 12 ordinates who serve by his side. Teal says you may. And yes, we are very much welcome, Fuji. Happy to see you. And here we have the blessing in appreciation of the serendipitous meeting. Oh, Leidenschaft, god of fire, Anwax, god of growth, Erechlen, god of guidance, Tat, god, I think it's a goddess. God or goddess of trials, Angriff, god of wars, Sligatzel, god of hunting. Please bless this meeting and all who are in it. Man, you got the whole pantheon memorized, or you got the good access to some notes to the goddesses and gods of Jugendschmidt. That was a beautiful prayer and impressive. I believe Mother Rosamine will have problems issuing blessings in live chat. My blessing took every single character and lacked proper form. You know what? That was A+ for effort, and keep trying to push the boundaries of YouTube chat. See what you can do. All right, Crusher, you are here, or you were here. I will show the AI art when we're done. I promise you. I promise you. All right, let's continue on to Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is the Catalans. You know what? When I think of the Catalans, I think of Spaniards, though I don't know if that's what it really means in this context. Catalans from the Catalan region of Spain.
It is actually a reference to it.
Okay. So maybe they're like a community within Marseille that are just like, maybe? I wonder.
I mean, France and Spain are neighbors.
Paragraph.
Okay. We will see it. Good. My curiosity is getting ahead of me, so let me not be overcome by it. Let's continue with Chapter 3, the Catalans. Beyond the bare, weather-worn wall, about 100 paces from the spot where the two friends sat looking and listening as they drank their wine, was the village of the Catalans. Long ago, this mysterious colony quitted Spain and settled on the tongue of land on which it is to this day. Whence it came, no one knew, and it spoke an unknown tongue. One of its chiefs, who understood Provençal, begged the commune of Marseille to give them this bare and barren promontory, where, like the sailors of old, they had run their boats ashore. The request was granted, and 3 months afterwards, around the 12 or 15 small vessels which had brought these gypsies of the sea, a small village sprang up. This village, constructed in a singular and picturesque manner, half Moorish, half Spanish, still remains, and is inhabited by descendants of the first comers, who speak the language of their fathers. For 3 or 4 centuries they have remained upon this small promontory on which they had settled like a flight of seabirds, without mixing with the Marseille population, intermarrying and preserving their original customs and the custom of their mother country as they have preserved its language. Our readers will follow us along the only street of this little village, and enter with one of us the houses, which is sunburned to the beautiful dead leaf color peculiar to the buildings of the country, and within coated with whitewash, like a Spanish posada. A young and beautiful girl, with hair as black as jet, her eyes as velvety as the gazelle's, was leaning with her back against the wainscot, rubbing in her slender and delicately molded fingers a bunch of heath blossoms, the flowers of which she was picking off and strewing on the floor, her arms bare to the elbow, brown, and modelled after those of the Arlesian Venus, moved with a kind of restless impatience as she tapped the earth with her arched and supple foot, so as to display the pure and full shape of her well-turned leg, in its red cotton, grey and blue clocked stocking. At 3 paces from her, seated in a chair which he balanced on 2 legs, leaning his elbow on an old worm-eaten table, was a tall young man of 20 or 22, who was looking at her with an air in which vexation and uneasiness mingled. He questioned her with his eyes, but the firm and steady gaze of the young girl controlled his look. Ooh. I guess I'm gonna.
I don't
read
think
that.
we assigned Fernand.
Yeah, that's true. You want to read that?
Sure. You see, Mercedes,
said the young man.
here is Easter come round again. Tell me, is this the moment for a wedding?
I have answered you 100 times, Fernand, and really, you must be very stupid to ask me again.
Well, repeat it. Repeat it, I beg of you, that I may at last believe it. Tell me for the 100th time that you refuse my love, which had your mother's sanction. Make me understand once for all that you are trifling with my happiness, that my life or death are nothing to you. Ah, to have dreamed for 10 years of being your husband, Mercedes, and to lose that hope, which was the only stay of my existence.
At least it was not I who ever encouraged you in that hope, Fernand.
Replied Mercedes.
You cannot reproach me with the slightest coquetry. I have always said to you, I love you as a brother, but do not ask for me more than sisterly affection, for my heart is another's. Is not this true, Fernand?
Yes, that is very true, Mercedes.
Replied the young man.
Yes, you have been cruelly frank with me. But do not forget that it is among the Catalans a sacred law to intermarry.
You mistake, Fernand. It is not a law, but merely a custom. And I pray of you, do not cite this custom in your favor. You are included in the conscription, Fernand, and are only at liberty on sufferance, liable at any moment to be called upon to take up arms. Once a soldier, what would you do with me, a poor orphan, forlorn, without fortune, with nothing but a half-ruined hut and a few ragged nets? The miserable inheritance left by my father to my mother, and by my mother to me? She has been dead a year, and you know, Fernand, I have subsisted almost entirely on public charity. Sometimes you pretend I am useful to you, and that is an excuse to share with me the produce of your fishing. And I accept it, Fernand, because you are the son of my father's brother, because we were brought up together, and still more because it would give you so much pain if I refuse. But I feel very deeply that this fish, which I go and sell, and with the produce of which I buy the flax I spin, I feel very keenly, Fernand, that this is charity.
And if it were, Mercedes, poor and lone as you are, you suit me as well as the daughter of the first shipowner or the richest banker of Marseille. What do such as we desire but a good wife and careful housekeeper? And where can I look for these better than in you?
Fernand,
answered Mercedes, shaking her head.
A woman becomes a bad manager, and who shall say she will remain an honest woman when she loves another man better than her husband? Rest content with my friendship, for I say once more that is all I can promise, and I will promise no more than I can bestow.
I understand.
replied Fernand.
You can endure your own wretchedness patiently, but you are afraid to share mine. Well, Mercedes, beloved by you, I would tempt fortune. You would bring me good luck, and I should become rich. I could extend my occupation as a fisherman, might get a place as clerk in a warehouse, and become in time a dealer myself.
You could do no such thing, Fernand. You are a soldier, and if you remain at the Catalans, it's because there is no war. So remain a fisherman, and contented with my friendship, as I cannot give you more.
Well, I will do better, Mercedes. I will be a sailor. Instead of the costume of our fathers, which you despise, I will wear a varnished hat, a striped shirt, and a blue jacket with an anchor on the buttons. Would not that dress please you?
What do you mean?
asked Mercedes with an angry glance.
What do you mean? I do not understand you.
I mean, Mercedes, that you are thus harsh and cruel with me, because you are expecting someone who is thus attired. But perhaps he whom you await is inconstant, or if he is not, the sea is so to him.
Fernand,
Cried
I
Mercedes.
believed you were good-hearted, and I was mistaken. Fernand, you are wicked to call your aid jealousy and the anger of God. Yes, I will not deny it. I do await, and I do love him of whom you speak. And if he does not return, instead of accusing him of the inconstancy which you insinuate, I will tell you that he died loving me and me only.
The young girl made a gesture of rage.
I understand you, Fernand. You would be revenged on him because I do not love you. You would cross your Catalan knife with his dirk. What end would that answer? To lose you my friendship if he were conquered? And see that friendship changed into hate if you were victor? Believe me, to seek a quarrel with a man is a bad method of pleasing the woman who loves that man. No, Fernand, you will not thus give way to evil thoughts. Unable to have me for your wife, you will content yourself with having me for your friend and sister. And besides,
she added, her eyes troubled and moistened with tears.
Wait, Fernand. You said just now that the sea was treacherous, and he has been gone 4 months. And during these 4 months, there have been some terrible storms.
Fernand made no reply, nor did he attempt to check the tears which flowed down the cheeks of Mercedes, although for each of these tears he would have shed his heart's blood. But these were tears flowed for another. He arose, paced a while up and down the hut, and then suddenly, stopping before Mercedes, with his eyes glowing and his hands clenched.
Say, Mercedes,
he said.
Once for all, is this your final determination?
I love Edmond Dantès.
The young girl replied calmly.
And none but Edmond shall ever be my husband.
And you will always love him?
As long as I live.
Fernand let fall his head like a defeated man, heaved a sigh that was like a groan, and then suddenly, looking her full in the face, which with clenched teeth and expanded nostrils, said,
But if he is dead?
If he is dead, I shall die too.
If he has forgotten you?
Mercedes!
cried a joyous voice from without.
Mercedes!
Ah!
exclaimed the young girl, blushing with delight and fairly leaping in excess of love.
You see he has not forgotten me, for here he is.
And rushing towards the door, she opened it, saying,
Here, Edmond, here I am.
Fernand, pale and trembling, drew back like a traveler at the sight of a serpent, and fell into a chair beside him. Edmond and Mercedes were clasped in each other's arms. The burning Marseille sun, which shot into the room through the open door, covered them with a flood of light. At first they saw nothing around them. Their intense happiness isolated them from all the rest of the world. and they only spoke in broken words, which are the tokens of a joy so extreme that they seemed rather the expression of sorrow. Suddenly Edmond saw the gloomy, pale, and threatening countenance of Fernand as it was defined in the shadow. By a movement for which he could scarcely account to himself, the young Catalan placed his hand on the knife at his belt.
"Ah, your pardon,"
said Dantès, frowning, and returned.
"I did not perceive that there were 3 of us."
Then turning to Mercedes, he inquired,
"Who is this gentleman?"
One who will be your best friend, Dantès, for he is my friend, my cousin, my brother. It is Fernand, the man whom, after you, Edmond, I love best in the world. Do you not remember him?
"Yes,"
said Dantès, and without relinquishing Mercedes's hand, clasped in one of his own, he extended the other to the Catalan with a cordial air. But Fernand, instead of responding to this amiable gesture, remained mute and trembling. Edmond then cast his eyes scrutinizingly at the agitated and embarrassed Mercedes, and then again on the gloomy and menacing Fernand. This look told him all, and his anger waxed hot.
"I did not know when I came with such haste to you that I was to meet an enemy here."
An enemy?
Cried Mercedes, with an angry look at her cousin.
An enemy in my house, do you say, Edmond? If I believed that, I would place my arm under yours, and go with you to Marseille, leaving this house to return to it no more.
Fernand's eye darted lightning.
And should any misfortune occur to you, dear Edmond,
she continued with the same calmness which proved to Fernand that the young girl had read the very innermost depths of his sinister thought.
If misfortune should occur to you, I would ascend the highest point of the Cape de Morgieu and cast myself headlong from it.
Fernand became deadly pale.
But you are deceived, Edmond. You have no enemy here. There is no one but Fernand, my brother, who will grasp your hand as a devoted friend.
And at these words, the young girl fixed her imperious look on the Catalan, who, as if fascinated by it, came slowly toward Edmond and offered him his hand. His hatred, like a powerless though furious wave, was broken against the strong ascendancy which Mercedes exercised over him. Scarcely, however, had he touched Edmond's hand when he felt he had done all he could do, and rushed hastily out of the house.
Oh!
He exclaimed, running furiously and tearing at his hair.
Oh, who will deliver me from this man? Wretched, wretched that I am!
Hello, Catalan! Hello, Fernand! Where are you running to?
Exclaimed a voice. The young man stopped suddenly, looked around him, and perceived that Caderousse sitting at the table with Danglars under an arbor.
Well, why don't you come? Are you really in such a hurry that you have no time to pass the time of day with your friends?
Particularly when they have still a full bottle with them.
Added Danglars. Fernand looked at them both with a stupefied air, but did not say a word.
He seems besotted,
said Danglars, pushing Caderousse with his knee.
Are we mistaken? And is Dantès triumphant in spite of all we have believed?
Why, we must inquire into that,
was Catalous's reply, and turning towards the young man, said,
Well, Catalan, can't you make up your mind?
Fernand wiped away the perspiration steaming from his brow, and slowly entered the arbor, whose shade seemed to restore somewhat of calmness to his senses, and whose coolness somewhat of refreshment to his exhausted body.
Good day,
said he.
You called me, didn't you?
And he fell rather than sat down on one of the seats which surrounded the table.
I called you because you were running like a madman, and I was afraid you would throw yourself into the sea.
said
Why,
Cadmus.
when a man has friends, they are not only to offer him a glass of wine, but, moreover, to prevent his swallowing 3 or 4 pints of water unnecessarily.
Fernand gave a groan, which resembled a sob, and dropped his hands into his. Sorry, guys. Fernand gave a groan, which resembled a sob, and dropped his head into his hands, his elbows leaning on the table.
Well, I must say, Fernand,
said Caderousse, beginning the conversation with the brutality of the common people in which curiosity destroys all diplomacy.
you look uncommonly like a rejected lover.
And he burst into a hoarse laugh.
Bah!
Said Danglars.
A lad of his make was not born to be unhappy in love. You are laughing at him, Chartreuse.
No, only hark how he sighs. Come, Fernand. Hold up your head and answer us. It's not polite not to reply to friends who ask news of your health.
My health is well enough,
said Fernand, clenching his hands without raising his head.
Ah, you see, Danglars?
said Caderousse, winking at his friend.
This is how it is. Fernand, whom you see here, is a good and brave Catalan, one of the best fishermen in Marseille, and he is in love with a very fine girl named Mercedes. But it appears, unfortunately, that the fine girl is in love with the mate of the Pharaoh, and as the Pharaoh arrived today, why? You understand?
No, I do not understand.
Poor Fernand has been dismissed,
continued Caderousse.
Well, and what then?
said Fernand, lifting up his head and looking at Caderousse like a man who looks for someone on whom to vent his anger.
Mercedes is not accountable to any person, is she? Is she not free to love whomever she will?
Oh, if you take it in that sense, it is another thing. But I thought you were a Catalan, and they told me Catalans were not meant to allow themselves to be supplanted by a rival. It was even told to me that Fernand, especially, was terrible in his vengeance.
Fernand smiled piteously.
A lover is never terrible,
he said.
Poor fellow,
remarked Danglars, affecting to pity the young man from the bottom of his heart.
Why, you see, he did not expect to see Dantès return so suddenly. He thought he was dead, perhaps, or perchance faithless. These things always come on us more severely when they come suddenly.
Ah, ma foi, under any circumstances,
said Caderousse, who drank as he spoke and on whom the fumes of the wine began to take effect.
Under any circumstances, Fernand is not the only person put out by the fortunate arrival of Dantès. Is he, Danglars?
No, you are right, and I should say that would bring him ill luck.
No, well, never mind,
answered Caderousse, pouring out a glass of wine for Fernand, and filling his own for the 8th or 9th time, while Danglars had merely sipped his.
Never mind. In the meantime, he marries Mercedes, the lovely Mercedes. At least he returns to that.
During this time, Danglars fixed his piercing glance on the young man, on whose heart Caderousse's words fell like molten lead.
And when is the wedding to be?
he asked.
Oh, it is not yet. It is not yet fixed.
Murmured Fernand.
Why is there an exclamation?
No. Oh, but it will be. As surely as Dantès will be captain of the Pharaon. Danglars?
Danglars shuddered at this unexpected attack and turned to Caderousse, whose countenance he scrutinized to try and detect whether the blow was premeditated. But he read nothing but envy in a countenance already rendered brutal and stupid by drunkenness.
Well,
Said he, filling the glasses.
let us drink to Captain Edmond Dantès, husband of the beautiful Catalan.
Caderousse raised his glass to his mouth with unsteady hand and swallowed the contents at a gulp. Fernand dashed his on the ground. Stammered Caderousse.
What do I see down there by the wall, in the direction of the Catalans? Look, Fernand, your eyes are better than mine. I believe I see double. You know, wine is a deceiver, but I should say it was two lovers walking side by side and hand in hand. Heaven forgive me, they do not know that we can see them. And they are actually embracing.
Danglars did not lose one pang that Ferdinand endured.
Do you know them, Fernand?
He said.
Yes.
Was the reply in a low voice.
It is Edmond and Mercedes.
Ah, he's there now, and I did not recognize them. Hello, Dantès! Hello, lovely damsel! Come this way and let us know when the wedding is to be, for Fernand here is so obstinate he will not tell us.
Hold your tongue, will you?
Said Danglars, pretending to restrain Caderousse, who, with the tenacity of drunkards, leaned out of the arbor.
Try to stand upright and let the lovers make love without interruption. See, look at Fernand and follow his example. He is well behaved.
Fernand, probably excited beyond bearing, pricked by Danglars, as the bull is by the bandilleros, was about to rush out, for he had risen from his seat and seemed to be collecting himself to dash headlong upon his rivals, when Mercedes, smiling and graceful, lifted up her lovely head and looked at them with her clear and bright eyes. At this, Fernand recollected the threat of dying if Edmond died, and dropped again heavily on his seat. Danglars looked at the two men, one after the other, the one brutalized by liquor, the other overwhelmed with love.
I shall get nothing from these fools,
He muttered.
and I am very much afraid of being here between a drunkard and a coward. He is an envious fellow, making himself boozy on wine while he ought to be nursing his wrath. And here is a fool who sees the woman he loves stolen from under his nose and takes on like a big baby. It is Catalan. His eyes, they glisten like those of our vengeful Spaniards, Sicilians, and Calabrians. And others has fists big enough to crush ox in one blow. Unquestionably, Edmond's star is in his ascendant, and he will marry the splendid girl. He will be captain too, and laugh at us all. Unless.
A sinister smile passed over Danglars' lips.
Unless I take a hand in the affair?
Hello!
Continued Caderousse, half rising, and with his fist on the table.
Hello, Edmond! Do you not see your friends, or are you too proud to speak to them?
No, my dear fellow.
Replied Dantès.
I am not proud, but I am happy. Happiness blinds. I think more than pride.
Ah, very well. That's an explanation. What do you do, Madame Dantès?
Mercedes curtsied gravely and said,
That is not my name, and in my country it bodes ill fortune, they say, to call a young girl by the name of her betrothed before he becomes her husband. So call me Mercedes, if you please.
We must excuse our worthy neighbor Cateru. He is so easily mistaken.
So, then, the wedding is to take place immediately, Monsieur Dantès?
said Danglars, bowing to the young couple.
As soon as possible, Monsieur Danglars. Today, all preliminaries will be arranged at my father's, and tomorrow, or next day at least, the wedding festival here at La Reserve. My friends will be there. I hope that is to say you are invited, Mr. Danglars, and you, Mr. Cutter.
And Ferdinand,
said Caderousse with a chuckle.
Ferdinand too, invited.
My wife's brother is my brother.
said Edmond.
And we, Mercedes and I should be very happy if he were absent.
Sorry.
I think I meant sorry. I would be very sorry if you were absent at such a time.
So I mean, we know he
I'll take that one
would be.
personally.
We know that he would be happy though to have him not be at the wedding.
I mean Freudian slip.
Right?
Speak your truth, man.
Fernand opened his mouth to reply, but his voice died on his lips, and he could not utter a word.
Today the preliminaries, tomorrow or the next the ceremony. You are in a hurry, Captain.
Danglars,
said Edmond, smiling.
I will say to you, as Mercedes said just now to Cateru, do not give me a title which does not belong to me. That may bring me bad luck.
Your pardon. I merely said you seemed in a hurry, and we have lots of time. The Pharaon cannot be underway again in less than 3 months.
We are always in a hurry to be happy, Monsieur Danglars. For when we have suffered a long time, we have great difficulty in believing in good fortune. But it is not selfishness alone that makes me thus in haste. I must go to Paris.
Ah, really? To Paris? And will it be the first time you have ever been there, Dantès?
Yes.
Have you business there?
Not of my own. The last commission of poor Captain Leclerc. You know to what I allude, Danglars. It is sacred. Besides, I shall only take the time to go and return.
Yes, I understand.
Said Danglars, and then in a low tone he added,
To Paris. No doubt to deliver the letter which the Grand Marshal gave him. Ah, this letter gives me an idea. A capital idea. Ah, Dantès, my friend, you are not yet registered number 1 on board of the good ship Pharaon.
Then turning toward Edmond, who was walking away,
A pleasant journey,
he cried.
Thank you.
Said Edmond with a friendly nod, and the two lovers continued on their way, as calm and joyous as if they were the very elect of heaven. End of chapter.
Quite a bit of foreshadowing there with the bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a blast. Like, I was having so much fun.
We could tell. We could tell.
This is a pretty fun character.
Shout out to Tin who recommended me this role.
Yeah, we snatched the role from Teals and gave it to you.
No, I asked her before you came.
Oh no, wait, that
Teal,
was the little butterfly other role. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. Before you came, I was like, I don't remember the characters' names and who each one is. Teal, what should I get? And she was like, this guy is pretty flamboyant. Say no more. That's me.
Flamboyant is one way to put it. Yeah. Good call. I like it when people are passionate and having fun about what they're reading. So that is the most important thing. Like I like it when people call out a role that they're into, because I know that they are excited to read it and they will go all out. So lovely, perfect. Thank you. That's what we do.
Especially with the drunkenness, I was like, yep, this is perfect. Not drunk right now, but like I can name it.
Yeah, it gives for a little bit of more creative freedoms and stuff when you play that kind of character. Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I love Danglars and Ferdinand, but going back and forth between them is a journey.
Yeah, I had not foreseen that. But yeah, especially since I think you have push to talk, right?
Yeah, I have a little like mute button on my mic, which I just turn on and off to make sure I don't pick up background noises. But
yeah,
they're such different characters; they're really hard to get in the headspace of.
By the way, mad props to those of you who can do like I think Teal can do a little bit of French accent, and I think I picked it up on you too. Can do that. Awesome.
I definitely cannot.
I can't either. So I like to hear it though. Lovely. All right.
It's fun to get into.
There was a problem with the sound, maybe. I don't know if I was hearing it through the Discord, so I'm not hearing what's on YouTube. But especially when you were talking, Magpie, there was like an echo of some sort. Your mic. But also when I was talking or someone else, there was sometimes an echo, and I don't know if it was only for me or others heard it.
I think I may know a little bit of that one. I don't think he had hit the mute button fast enough, so maybe that was.
That might have been it.
Yeah.
That was probably it. But hopefully it wasn't too much to like distract guys. I mean, I could hear it sometimes, but it wasn't a huge issue. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for pointing it out. If we ever do have like a really bad connection issue or a YouTube gang, like you guys notice that the audio is bad, like for everybody, let me know and tag me so I can see it. Or like one of the gang can read it and then we can address it as best as possible. I don't know how I would address it, but I would try. I would probably like restart OBS. I don't know. All right. So let's see. We have a little smattering of bad luck here. Bad luck from what was it? Mercedes, who says this superstition that if you call a betrothed woman by the name of her, you know, who she's gonna marry, so calling her Madame Dantès, that was bad luck. And also when they called Edmond Captain Dantès. So I don't know. I don't think these things are to be taken too seriously. They're just so happy, right? It's going to be a whole bunch of happiness. Remember what Teal said, 117 chapters of a happy couple.
Slice of life. Yeah, a happy slice of life.
This is just what we like to call epic foreshadowing.
Things are only looking up for Dantès.
Okay, I have to say it though, you guys. I'm like, Mercedes, please don't say those things. Don't say those things because... Okay, first of all, Ferdinand sucks. I can't believe I have to say this because I hate the fact that we have somebody whose name is so close to Ferdinand, but Fernand
You
sucks.
heard it here first, folks. She said Ferdinand sucks.
I never said Ferdinand. I said Fernand. Fernand.
I
Okay.
can't. How much things have changed, Magpie?
Huh? Okay. So you will hear it. Yes. So he's like saying like, well, what if he suddenly decides that he does not like you anymore? And she's like, that will never happen. He's like, okay, fine. Well, what if he suddenly dies and he doesn't come back to you? And she's like, what did she say? What was it that she said that she would do?
She would go to the highest point of Cape Morgo and toss herself into the sea.
Yeah. And he took it seriously. Like, he's like, yeah, that's a girl who would do it. So it was interesting to notice that Fernand was like, yeah, I probably should kind of hold off, because if I do something bad to the guy, she's gonna kill herself. So that was enough of a warning for him to try to not attempt anything, because she's a woman of her word, right? So let us get prepared, you guys. If something happens to Edmond, Mercedes is going to do some harm to herself, so don't get too attached to her, you guys. But just be careful what you promise. Some promises, they're just no. As it says in Hamlet, my lady doth protest too much. She's promising too much.
Oh yes, the AI art.
Thank you. All right. Let's see what else. Scored. By the way, Yukihime, I love the hiccup. Patrick put it in the chat, but yeah, that little touch.
I was like, if he's drunk, he's got a hiccup. It's like stereotyped. I don't know. It's fun.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Where did you put the AI art? Okay, here we go. Alright, so let us change here. Views. Chapter 2. In Chapter 2, Dantès returns to visit his father. Father and son are overjoyed and to be reunited. By the way, I noticed that the old man, he was tending to some flowers. You guys, those are edible flowers, at least in Asturians. Those are edible. That means the man was growing his own little garden to eat from. It's so sad. The poor man.
Well, if you can't get anything else to eat.
Yeah, he was living in a wretched situation. I mean, no wine? Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's kind of a growing custom here in America these days.
Oh yeah, but hasn't been the norm though. Let's see. Then he greets his fiancée Mercedes afterwards. Oh look, it has double text. You did not have much money. Never mind, for we have nothing to wish for. And then Mercedes. Oh, I am so happy. You forgot the excessively jealous cousin / brother / father or whatever. Insert family title here. Very disturbing. Very.
Incest is incest.
You know what?
Yeah, my soul died a little saying that one.
Let's just.
I sold that a little bit reading that character's first couple of lines.
Well, you have to understand, his only other recourse is to marry someone French.
Wow.
I joke.
Oh, heaven forbid.
Why would anyone ever want to marry someone French?
I don't know, ask Mercedes, maybe she knows.
That's almost like living in California or New York.
Okay.
I'm about to mute you. Jeez. Anyway, let us continue on discussing things that don't have anything to do with yes. So let's see, we have yeah, he says bro started this argument. Yes, he started the argument with Mercedes. She's just minding her own business, trying to make a living, and he's just sitting there. If you love her that much, you're not going to make her feel like you're doing her a favor by helping her live. And you can actually help her start her own business. Can you do that? Can you help her be an independent woman and not have to rely on you? See, that's the thing that I hate. Yeah, anyway, I will not get into a rant. I was going to get into a rant. I will not. But yeah, just to say, I hate this guy.
Considering the time period, it's probably not a good idea for a woman to be independent.
Why?
The time period. The culture back then,
Well,
women were not intended to be independent.
Keep digging that hole, Patrick.
Yeah.
It's what I do! It's what I do! I dig the hole and I make it deeper!
She-
Heal.
she has been independent in a way. She's become orphaned, and she's had to make her own way in the little poor Catalan village. And yeah, she relied on charity, but it's also her own sort of ingenious, industrious nature that's like kept her doing all right. And I mean, yeah, a lot of the charity is from Fernand, but she hates that.
Yeah, she's not being like a freeloader because she wants to. She's like, I'm trying my best. She's trying her best. And if somebody could give her a low interest or no interest loan, that would help her out a lot. A micro business. Micro businesses are important and have been historically for women everywhere. That's all I'm gonna say. So, anything else about this chapter that we should discuss besides, like putting aside the incest and all that other stuff?
Everyone is just so jealous.
Yeah,
They're all haters.
those haters. I think I saw Patrick and Hiei light up. Patrick?
I just said I got nothing.
Oh, okay. Yay.
I did note that Fernand and Dantès both kind of have a little bit of an anger issue. It's come up multiple times. Dantès is better at keeping it under control, but and it's obvious with Ferdinand that he is very very angry very easily. But like Dantès, he's very quickly tried to start in the last chapter a duel with Danglars. He had to hide his anger against Chartreuse. And here, he saw Ferdinand, and one of his first thoughts was, I'm going to punch this dude.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. So again, that's one of Dantès' one of his character flaws is that he's kind of a little quick to get into defend his honor or whatever. If he's been wronged, he wants to leap into the brawl to fix his name, clear his name, and to show his enemies that they were wrong.
Quick to anger, but quick to suppress it.
Yeah, he has to. That's important. And again, I attribute that to just part of his idealism. I guess it's also trying to make sure that the world is uniformly just and that nobody like at some point you learn to grow up and just to dismiss what stupid people have to say about you, and you gotta pick your fights. So anyway, but I attribute that to him just being really young and rash, and
Well, I mean, his anger toward Chartreuse was very justified. I mean, he basically left plenty of money to help his father, and the guy basically called in the debt just to leave his father in poverty.
Yeah.
It's a pretty justified anger.
Yeah. That is, yeah. I don't dispute that at all. Also, it was to me a little bit funny. Dantès comes to visit Mercedes, and Mercedes is like, Dantès! And he's like, Mercedes! And then they fall to a makeout session. Right there and then. Mercedes entirely forgetting that in her house is Ferdinand, who's so horribly in love with her, and they're just like going at it until to the point that Ferdinand is about to do something dangerous with his knife. I'm like, yeah, that was kind of like interesting. So I think that just about covers 2 chapters. Congratulations, you guys. We covered 2 chapters, and let's see if we can keep up a nice pace. Maybe 1, maybe 2 in the next chapter. We'll pick up again on Wednesday. Also, if you want to join us for... Hold on a sec. Let me hunt up the link. If you want to join us, we're going to watch the part... By the way, you guys, while I was reading, I was comparing it to a 2024 version. Teal. No wonder you were so distraught. It's so different, but it's still pretty.
It's so different.
It's so different. So different. So in the 2024, there's nothing about the Catalans. There's nothing about that. They're just like a very wealthy family. The father lives as a butler or something to Mercedes' family.
Yeah. Completely different.
Very different. So if you want to see just how different it is, we're going to watch the movie again, the same one, because Yukihime and others joined in and weren't able to finish it. So
Are we going to torture Teal again?
Teal can hop out of the watch party. Up to her. Up the event link. Hold on a second. Well, I'll share the link in the chat in a little bit. I should have stayed on the drafts, darling.
I second this opinion.
Don't you dare. No.
I mean, I don't know,
Stop
like
it.
Ferdinand does some questionable stuff.
But no, do not. Don't you
Wait,
dare. Don't you dare.
Is Fuji in the Discord now?
No, I think they could see the Wilfried, all the channels that we have, I think. Yeah. When I was showing the Discord AI art that Crusher posted, I think you can see some of the channels that we have available. Yes, there's a Wilfried hate mob. Yes, there is a Detland hate mob. And yes, there's a Jinshi hate mob, but that's only for me. I'm the only one here that hates his ass.
I still don't understand why you hate him so much.
I hate him so much. I hate him. I hope he dies.
Hilarious.
I hope
There would also be a third.
I hope that Apothecary Diaries ends with him dying and leaving her the heck alone. I hate him.
So angry.
Yes, for a reason. I hate him.
I've got enough hate for the Jinshi. Please let me join the hate mob.
Yes.
It would be a Ferdinand hate mob, but anybody who posted in it would be insta-banned.
Yeah.
I want this now. Let's do it.
Okay, you
You
guys.
will be sent directly to the Chateau d'If.
Yes, Chateau d'If, and muted for a month.
No.
For 14 years.
Ooh. But spoilers. We should better get going, you guys. I have to discipline this lot, you guys. They are a rowdy and mischievous lot, and they need a talking to. So I will not subject you to this. Everybody, say goodbye. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you Wednesday.
And join us on the Discord. It's fun here.
Or is it? Bye, everybody.
Please,
on.
please.